Hey guys, I'm Tim and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. Go ahead and hit that like button, we'd really appreciate it. Check us out on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. We put out daily content there and we do a weekly podcast as well. Today, we're bringing you something very special here. I'm bringing an interview with one of our good friends and longtime customers, Aaron DRAGSETH.
Hello everybody.
Aaron, where are you from?
I'm from San Leandro, California.
See, he's made a long trip out here to the East Coast. He's visiting us here today. And how long have you been shopping with us now?
Probably 6-7 years.
How many Japanese maples would you say you have in your garden?
About 150.
About 150 Japanese maples.
And I've had probably 300. I give a lot of them away to friends and family.
So out of these Japanese maples that you have, how many of those do you have in the ground versus how many you have in containers?
I probably have maybe 10 in the ground. The rest are all in containers.
Wow. And what's your gardening zone?
It's actually 10A.
So he's in a 10A in California.
Yeah.
And so it's a very different 10A than something like down in Florida. I mean, the heat doesn't get quite as hot as it does down there.
It's cool and dry.
You're growing most of these trees in containers.
Most of them, yep. Just space issues. Yeah.
So this is a thing that all collectors run into, is sometimes you run out of space and you have to grow them in containers. We're all there. If you start collecting Japanese maples, you get to that point. So what are your best tips for growing Japanese maples in containers for somebody who's just starting out?
Okay, well, you want soil that drains very well. That's probably the key thing. You also have to worry about the temperature, like the sun hitting pots and the roots overheating. So you want to make sure your trees don't get too root bound. Up pot them if you need to, or prune the roots. Prune the roots when they're dormant. You can up pot them. At least I up pot them in pretty much any time of year. So.
Well, what's the biggest mistake you think someone could make in growing a Japanese maple in a container?
Keeping them too wet. Yeah, keeping them too wet.
Got to have good drainage when it comes to Japanese maples in containers. But we would preach that in almost all of our videos, but it's certainly true with containers.
Yeah, big time.
So with all these different trees, this is very different. What's your favorite Japanese maple to grow in a container?
Oh, in a container?
In a container.
You know, there's any of the Makawas are great. In any type of dwarf broom. I have a really pretty big Mystic Makawa that I love. That's in a container. That one looks great. Yeah, any of the Makawas really. The
Makawa family collection is one of our favorites here at Mr. Maple. I mean, there's so many awesome Makawa family collection types. The Mystic Makawa you mentioned with that orange color in the spring. Makawa Yatabusa itself, which is that tightly layering green. I mean, all those just look like little animals out there in a container.
Yeah, they look great.
I definitely enjoy growing those in containers as well. Part of me wants to bonsai them, but then I've got all these other trees to take care of here at the nursery. And so bonsai takes a lot of work and a lot of skill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you're do Seacrest Aquatics.
Yeah.
Because I think you've even been buying from us, I believe, maybe even back on some of our eBay days.
Nope, I don't go back that far.
Don't go back to eBay days.
Yeah, I found you guys on Facebook, and that's where I found you. And then I was, back when I first found you, I hadn't done much mail order. I was mostly getting my maples from local nurseries, and you guys had so many amazing pictures and different stuff that I'd never seen before. I'd never heard of before. I had the Vertrees Gregory book, and that's where I learned about most of my maples. But later, I saw the stuff that Tim and Matt had, and I was like, oh wow.
So you're back from our pink website days with the PayPal.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, feels like we've known each other for years, but this is actually today is our very first meeting in person with Aaron. I appreciate you coming on today, giving people some tips for container gardening. Container gardening is one of those ways you can extend your garden out to your patio, your driveway. You know, bring the essence of gardening in other places where you don't even have soil. And so it's always a fun thing to do. But, you know, those tips of good drainage and making sure that you up pot trees so they don't get too root bound or pruned during the winter, That's some excellent tips. I really appreciate it, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Well, y'all, thanks so much. We appreciate y'all. Smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care, God bless, and have an awesome day.